in Philadelphia. I've always been a fedora man. This mic's really hot, by the way. I've always been a fedora man. I've always liked to wear a fedora, but for some reason I saw this hat in a hat store, and I never thought I was a derby kind of guy. I mean, a derby, that's like Curly Howard. That's not my style. So I tried this on, and I'm looking, and I'm like, it's got kind of this Bat Masterson thing going here. So I bought it. And the very, very first time I wore it, I was on my way to a convention. Now, a nice thing about being the kind of guy who flies a lot, to cons mostly, sometimes to business, mostly to cons, you build up frequent flyer miles. And if you are careful in accruing your miles and know what you're doing, you can get yourself up to the amazing super colossal silver gold platinum suck my dick level frequent flyer program. That's what I am with US Airways. So they usually put me up into first class. I like being in first class. Once you've been up in first class, it's kind of hard to go back. That's why I dress this way when I travel. This is I'm a first class kind of guy. Yep. For one thing, your seat actually reclines. You know how it is back in coach? You may now recline your seat. Okay. Please put your seat back up, sorry. Try doing that on a flight across the Pacific to Australia and try to get some sleep. So, I'm sitting up in first class. Now, something you need to know about first class is there's sort of an unspoken rule, because they get to get seated first. And they're up in the front. You don't look at the other people going to the back. You just kind of stare at your free drink that they give you when you start. You get out your Wall Street Journal and you look down here. Not me. I'm a dick. I'm like... And they always get this look in their faces like, yeah, I'm up here and you ain't. So, I was happily up there one day, and this young fella got on. Now, you know how you always get the backup going in? It doesn't matter how many people are on the plane, there's always some guy trying to put a lawn tractor up in the overhead bin up there. And everybody backs up, and they're all like, and they're looking at me, there's that asshole again. So, well, I was sitting there, looking as dapper as I can, because I'm a first class kind of guy. And I picked up the Wall Street Journal. I didn't have anything else to read. There was a Wall Street Journal there, so I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal. And I glanced up, and there was a young fella, 16, 17, something like that, I suppose. And he was caught in the backup waiting to board. And he's standing there looking forlorn, and he had a t-shirt on with derpy hooves on it that said derpy across it. Okay, any bronies out there? Quite a few, so you know who I'm talking about, right? So I glanced up in the paper and I said, yeah. That's an interesting t-shirt, young man. And he said, thanks. I said, yeah, bro hug. He went, dude, no way! I went, way. No. I like to fuck with people's heads that way. By the way, anybody who doesn't know who the old guy up here is with all the stuff, they call me Uncle Kage. I don't know why. They put me up on the stage. I also don't know why. Pretty much I get up here and drink and talk and drink and talk until I throw up on my shoes and fall over, and you guys seem to like that, so... They call it Uncle Kage's story hour, so here I am. So, my brand new hat, my most dapper hat. As the plane was boarding, one thing I like to do is the gentleman doesn't wear his hat indoors, right? So I'd taken my hat and I put it down between my feet like this. Because that's a good place for it. You don't ever set a hat down on its brim like this because it'll flatten out. So I set it down like this, between my feet, where it would be safe. The flight attendant lady came by and she said, oh, I'm sorry, sir, you can't have that on the floor. You're going to have to put that either in the overhead or under the seat in front of you. She said, yes, sir, you're going to have to either put it in the overhead or put it under the seat in front of you. And I said, She went away. When she went away, I put it back down here. Well, even in first class, the little tray tables are very small. They're about 3 inches square. They're just as big as the base of a wine glass, sometimes even smaller. So I had my nice glass of extremely cheap white wine. Even in first class, the white wine is awful. But I had it sitting on my tray table once we got up to the cruising altitude, and I was being very, very careful with it because you don't want to spill wine. That's alcohol abuse. And at one point, I started a conversation with the gentleman next to me. He was saying, "So, what are you going out to wherever city for?" Oh boy, here comes a story. Well, across from me, taking up most of the right side of the aircraft, was a substantial lady. Yeah, she carries a lot of weight in the airline industry, shall we say. Well, when she got up, one of her several butt cheeks struck my tray table, and just as I was turning, I happened to see the wine glass, full wine glass, tilt and pour and land all over my brand new, just bought that week hat. And I was horrified. Oh, quick, bring me a paper towel, please. I'm trying to blot it up. I see it soaking into the felt, and I'm trying very hard to squeeze it out, and it's like, no. And I thought, oh, this is terrible. My hat's ruined. I can never wear it again. If I go anywhere wearing it like this, I'll reek of wine. But you'd be able to tell the difference, right? So, if it's okay with you, I'd like to take the hat and gloves and this heavy coat off, because where I come from, it's still a frozen, icy hell, unlike out here, where it's a rather toasty, warm, enjoyable hell. So, now, I just did this exact same thing down in Australia, where it's like 95 degrees Celsius, and so it was very hot. Pardon me a second. Okay, and no comments. At my age, it's not funny when a gold man starts taking his clothes off. It's just disgusting. That was funny, what? Uncle Cuddy took his coat off. It was hilarious. People say that, oh, Uncle Cuddy, he could get people to laugh reading a grocery list. I tried it once. I did. I don't know, what is it with you people? I just got my grocery list out. Tomatoes. Cucumber salad. Tuna fish, comma, canned. Condoms. They're for the cucumber salad. You people, geez. Going down to Australia is an interesting ordeal. The Pacific Ocean is big. When they put that ocean in, they just went whole hog. I mean, I don't know why they decided to float Australia all the way out in the middle of goddamn nowhere, but it's like way out there. So, last year I was flying Air New Zealand, or Air New Zealand as they like to call it. I don't have any power over them. They're not US Airways. So I was unable to use any of my charms or wiles to get myself upgraded. So I called the airline to say, okay, I might have to bite the bullet, get out the credit card. I won't have any idea how I'll pay for it, but let's see if I can purchase an upgrade. So I called Air New Zealand and I said, okay, what kind of options do I have for an upgrade? And the lady said, well, we could give you the sky bed. I thought, ooh, the sky bed? That sounds delightful. That sounds like this big, cushiony mattress with silk covers and 4 posts and everything. The sky bed, that just sounds delightful. How much will that cost on top of the cost of my existing ticket? And the lady said, $1,800. What? You went $1,800 for that amount? That damn thing better have somebody in it. Excuse me while I get a little refreshment. So I asked the lady, please describe the sky bed to me if it doesn't have anyone in it. Now remember, this is New Zealand. Air New Zealand, also known as Sheepshagger Airlines. They're not... Well, okay, let's just put it this way. The sky bed on Air New Zealand is... They'll sell you 3 seats next to each other and you just stretch out across them. I'm not making that up, that's what it is. Well, they'll give you a blanket. The blanket's nice. So I did, and I wound up going down to Australia in this seat again, you know what I mean? You may now recline your seat, okay. Yeah. I did discover a trick though. You can buy those goofy pillows with like the walnuts in them that they're kind of shaped like a horse collar, and they're like $50. You put them around your neck and they're supposed to keep your head from going places, something like that. I discovered that you can go to the local drugstore and for $9 you can buy a neck brace, a cervical collar. And you can like fasten it around your neck and your head ain't going nowhere. Plus, for some reason, if you walk up wearing it, they let you on the plane first. Try it someday. Anybody here go to Anthrocon? Yeah. Then I'm sorry you've heard all these before. People say, oh, how come Uncle Kage doesn't get new stories? Uncle Kage is always getting new stories. He doesn't like getting new stories. Oh, I like getting new stories. I don't like the getting of new stories, if you understand.
Have you been to Newfoundland?
I have been to Newfoundland. I have been to St. John's. I've walked the streets of St. John's. Newfoundland is interesting for 2 reasons. One, it is situated up there near the Arctic Circle. And in the summertime, the wind is coming up from down here, and it's toasty, warm, 75 lovely tropical degrees. All it takes is a little shift in the wind, and it's coming down from the pole. Don't go out happily wearing shorts and a tank top in Newfoundland in the summer. Just don't. And the second thing is, they speak a language very similar to Klingon up there. It's true. It is utterly incomprehensible to most human beings. Only Canadians can understand it. That didn't come out right. Sorry, Canada, we love you. But you see, here's basically what it is. When you go to Newfoundland, you get into a cab, and the gentleman, who is not Indian or Pakistani or anything like that, he will turn around and say, oh, hey, buddy, how you too? And you say, yes. I know that, but how are you too? 412. Come on, buddy, I know it all day. Where are you too? Sam. That's usually when they throw you out of the cab and you wind up walking. And then the wind comes out of the Arctic and you freeze to death. It's true, it's like the Franklin expedition. They're constantly digging tourists out of the sidewalk up there. There was one gentleman from Newfoundland I was able to understand. Because I had gone walking down to the docks. You know, it was an early Friday morning. And again, St. John's is picturesque, it is gorgeous. And I just wanted to see, you know, the fishing vessels coming in for the morning. And I'm watching them come in. One guy came in, he must have thought that his fishing vessel was a Ferrari. Because he's got this big wake splashing up the front, he's heading toward the dock, and I was watching and I was thinking, that guy probably ought to slow down. I mean, does that thing have brakes? Throw out the anchor? How's this going to work? He was like a New York driver. He kind of came in, did this little joggy thing, pulled into the slip. I heard the engine roar as he threw it in reverse, but it wasn't fast enough because the bow of his vessel slammed in to the stern of the fishing boat ahead of him and knocked that boat forward about 2-3 feet. The master of that boat came out and said, "Are you fucking in the buddy? What are you fucking in? I'm fucking my guy, got fucking my fucking boat, you know, fucking in, fuck you." I understood that. He reverted to English. It's the fact that Newfoundland has been so isolated from the rest of Canada for the last 8,000 years since the Ice Age. You know, when there was a land bridge or something, I don't know. But it is gorgeous. If you ever get an opportunity to go up there, bring a translator, but you'll enjoy it. So Anthicon this year. Anybody ever wonder why I look like this? It's because of Anthicon. You wonder why I drink? That's because of Anthicon.
But you love it.
I have told people in the weeks and months leading up to Anthicon, I sleep like a baby. I wake up screaming every 2 hours. This past year at Anthicon, as I had every single year for the past 18, 19, 20, I don't know, hell years, I rented a monstrous big 24-foot truck in which we load all our stuff. And all the stuff gets put in the truck, and the stuff is kept in various locations around southeastern Pennsylvania. Half of it is over in Pittsburgh. The rest of it, some's at my place, some belongs to the Philadelphia Science Fiction Society. We got to go around and collect it all. It's like a big Easter egg hunt, and then we head out to Pittsburgh. Well, as you all know, you can go down to the local Enterprise, Ryder, whatever, and you can rent a 24-foot truck. You don't need any special paperwork for it. You do not need any commercial driver's license as long as the truck is under 24 feet. So, as I handed my driver's license, gave them my insurance information, they gave me the truck. Woo, here I go. Start collecting stuff. Big scavenger hunt. I got all the stuff in the truck, and as myself and my co-driver were headed to get the last stop before Pittsburgh, as we were getting on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, that wonderful shining silver turd that stretches across the width of the state, a Pennsylvania State Police trooper materialized out of nowhere. As True the Red Griffin says, he just faded in from the asshole quadrant and did this. Uh-oh. So I'm a good boy. I pulled over, law-abiding citizen, and he pulled up the truck, and I said, "Yes, officer, what can I do for you?" And he said, "Where are you headed?" I said, "I'm going to Pittsburgh." He said, "Who are you with?" I said, "Anthrocon." And he said, "What are you hauling?" See, I thought this was like, you know, do you have 85,000 pounds of marijuana back there? In which case I would have told him I'm going to Colorado, but no. I said, "I'm going to Pittsburgh. We've got our art show equipment back there. It's going to be the greatest thing in the world. We got art show panels, and we're going to set up an art show, and people are going to buy art. It's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen. You should come out and you'll enjoy yourself." And he said, "Okay, I'd like to see your medical card, I'd like to see your DOT number, and I would like to see your logbook." And I said, "Hey, what?" He said, "Your medical card, your DOT number, and your logbook. Please produce them." And I said, hang on. This is a rental. See, this is all the rental paperwork. I rented this. It's a rental truck. I don't know." He looked at the paperwork. He said, "That's very nice. I need to see your medical card, your DOT number, and your logbook." And I said, I don't understand. What?" And he said, "Are you a business?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you on your way to do business?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Then this is a commercial transport. You need to produce those 3 things, or I'm impounding your truck." I said, "Let me make a phone call, please." So I called up the Enterprise place that I got it from. I said, "What am I going to do? This guy wants to see the car. He needs to go and see the DOT number. He thinks it's a commercial move. I'm not a commercial driver. What am I going to do?" And then he said, "Tell him you don't need those things." Boy, glad I had her. I never thought of that. So I said, "I don't need those things." And he said, "Step out of the truck, sir, please." So he basically impounded the truck, wouldn't let it go anywhere. I had to get the guy from Enterprise to come out and drive the truck back to his place and get somebody to drive me back. And then once we got there, the Enterprise people and I had some words. Mostly me with the words. And I even made up some new ones to kind of fill in the sensation I was feeling right then. Because the English language was not sufficient to describe how vexed I was. I tried some Newfoundland and some Klingon. They sounded the same. We eventually worked our way around it. It came down to what exactly is commerce. But eventually we were able to get the truck released and we were able to get out to Pittsburgh. However, anybody who saw me arrive that day, if I bit your head off, literally, I'm sorry. Epicon usually, all in all, will go smoothly after the first horrific thing happens. Because I guess by then it's gotten it out of its system. This year, it didn't get it out of its system. I arrived, happy. Now, I'll explain one thing about how my room works at Epicon. I'm the chairman, I'm the CEO, I'm the big important guy according to the hotel. So they try to impress me. The hotel doesn't need to impress me, I keep telling them that. But they want to, and it makes them happy, so okay. They give me a suite. My suite is the presidential suite. It's 4 rooms. There's a bedroom here, and then attached to it there's a parlor with a bar. Then attached to that there's another parlor with another bar, in case I get tired of this one. And then over here there's a second bedroom. So what I do is I give that bedroom and the 2 parlors to my security staff, because they need 2 bars, and I just sleep in the bedroom over here, if you can call it sleep. Actually, sleep is very precious to a conjure. We don't get a lot of it. It's true. Now, many of you know that I'm very, very good friends with the folks who run Eurofurence in Germany. I love Eurofurence and I love the German furry community. They are wonderful, wonderful people. Every year at Empicon, they ask, can we borrow your suite to have a party? And I have no problem doing that. The first year I was a little concerned, because Germans know how to party. I just told them, I need to have it a little bit quiet and for when I'm there, and you need to clean up the next day. Well, believe me, I don't have any words. Germans do not do anything halfway. You just ask Poland if you don't believe me. Are there any here? Sorry. Too soon. But anyway. Okay, we can joke like that. It's been a long enough time. As long as we always keep in the back of our hearts, there is a little bit of seriousness to that joke. It helps us remember. So not only do they clean up, it's like, wow, the hotel should hire you guys. I will go into the parlor the next day. All of the pizza boxes have been broken down and flattened and stacked perfectly square, corner to corner, in a nice little pile. The empty beer and soda bottles are lined up according to brand and alphabetical. That's Germans for you. So I have no qualms about letting them use my room to have a party. It's okay. Now, this past year, they asked to have the party, and I said, that's fine. I went to the party a little bit earlier than usual, and I told them, guys, I'm really not feeling good. I'm just going to go to bed. Try to keep it down, okay? And I went into my room and just was dead. I died. I mean, my heart stopped for the next 6 hours. Paramedics came, defibrillated me. I went back downstairs to get to work. And the first thing I encountered was one of the guys from the party who said, "Oh, Kage, I'm so sorry." What? What do you mean? He said, "Oh, we did not get a chance to clean up the room. You see, we thought that if you were asleep, we would move the party into the second room and keep this room just for the bar, but the door closed. And we did not, of course, could not open it. So we could not get in to clean up the room." And I said, "Why didn't you just come around and knock on the door?" And he said, "No! pick up Uncle Kage. Well, I guess I got him trained, all right. I said, oh, well, it's not a problem that you didn't clean up. Look, I got a little bit of time, I got an hour or so. I'll go up and take care of it myself. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, don't worry about it. You know, you guys are okay. So I went upstairs. And when I got to my floor, and I went around the corner, I saw the housekeeper standing in the hall like this. And I thought, uh-oh. So I thought, I'll just go around her, and she went. And I said, good morning. And she said, and I looked inside. Did I mention the Germans know how to party? I just reached into my wallet and I handed the lady $50. That's all I had on me. I said, here, take it. I'm so sorry. Well, the organizer of the party is my very, very dear friend Night Fox. He's the co-chair of Eurofurence. I went looking for him. Okay, everyone said, boo. Night Fox is my friend. I would never harm him beyond what's necessary. Unfortunately, in this modern day of social media and instant messaging and all that stuff, Night Fox started to get word, Uncle Kage's looking for you and he's pissed. So Night Fox was hiding from me. And I finally tracked him down, cornered him. He tried to beg for his life. He wanted to give me $50 to make up for it, and I said, no, I don't want your money. He said, then at least give it to the charity. And I thought, okay, we'll do that. So he said, oh good, here. I said, no, you're going to give it to the charity. And you're going to tell them exactly why. Let's go. Come on. Grabbed him by the ear, took him over to the charity table. Even the best laid plans of an evil genius sometimes go awry. Because I saw the lady give Night Fox a big hug when he gave her the money, and they talked for a moment. And he came back to me, and I said, what did she say? And he said, she said I could trash the room anytime I want. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. See, the story was supposed to have a different ending that involved blood and pieces of bone on the floor, but it didn't. That was the party. But since the Germans like to party so much, I like it when they invite me to their parties. One of the best parties they run, one of the best parties in the world, takes place over the New Year's holiday. In Germany, they call it Silvester, the Feast of St. Sylvester. Silvester to the Germans is what the 4th of July is to Americans. They just go completely apeshit at that party. They get together, they rent out a 18th century castle in Nordrhein, Westphalia, and they basically fill up the castle with furries. They get Big Blue Fox in there with his lasers and his oons and the fog and everything, and they just have a giant furry bash in that castle. And at the stroke of midnight, they shoot off more ordnance than we dropped on all of Berlin in 1945. It's true. It's true. I mean, the sky is lit up. A B-17 wouldn't make it across there. If we tried to bomb Berlin on New Year's, wouldn't have happened. So, I wanted to go this year to the party. Now, as it turned out, I was going to arrive a day early, and I was going to stay in a little hotel. It's called Das Bärenjäger, the Bear Hunter. It's like a furry hotel. And one thing you'll notice if you ever go to Germany is there are some things about that country that are just old. And the Germans don't even notice. Now, here's a church that was built in the year 9. Yes. You know, it's the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ the Teenager. or something like that. I stayed in Das Bärenjäger. Not only are things older over there, but they're different. It's a different land, a different culture. One thing that's very, very different are the showers. A German shower stall is about this big across on all four sides. That's how big it is. See, the Germans are a very fit people. A German can fit in there and get a decent shower. Americans, forget it. First, you have to go downstairs to the restaurant and get some butter. You know what I mean? Then you get into the shower and it makes this like noise. And it's hard to take a shower because you can't put your arms down. And the water doesn't get down here anyway. It just kind of pools up here. Anybody who's been to Germany knows what I'm talking about. This is true. Something else about a German shower is over here, the way we design our plumbing is somewhere in the wall you've got a pipe that goes to the hot water heater, which, as George Carlin said, is really a strange word. Why does hot water need heating? And then you got a pipe that's the regular water. Somewhere inside the wall they mix, so when you turn that spigot, water of a nice tepid temperature comes out. In Germany, those pipes come out of the wall and they don't mix until they're like out here. One pipe is connected directly to the North Sea. The other pipe goes directly to the center of the earth. And you can hear it when the water mingles, it hisses. It's like, you know, Mount Pele in Hawaii or something. You hear this hissy, crackly noise. While I was in the shower, trying very hard to wash my hair, this here, I do have some hair. At one point, the back of my arm contacted pipe number 2. When I was young, I was particularly athletic. Believe it or not, I used to be a gymnast. Long time ago. When you get to be my age, the nervous system starts to slow down. You know, an old person's reaction time is not as good as a young person's reaction time. See, what happens when you have a stimulus is a nerve kind of wakes up and it sends this little electrochemical messenger up the pathway who bangs on the door of the brain. And when you get old, it basically is something like this, when that knock comes. How you doing? Oh, is that for me? Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, from the arm. Well, that's not good. Dear arm, how are you? I am fine. I would like to recommend, you see, suggest that you move. Love and kisses, affectionately yours, the brain. Tell him I says hi. Round about this time, another messenger showed up from the nose saying, I smell bacon. By the time the arm moved, there was this peeling sensation and a sizzle. Bacon. Well, I was in pain. So once I got my clothes on and everything, the first person I went to visit who lived in the same town was Tani Dariala. A lot of you guys know Tani. She's a wonderful lady. She gave me some medicine, which I drank, and then she gave me some cream to put on my arm. Like I say, the Germans don't do shit halfway. That cream was amazing. I didn't feel anything for the next 48 hours. Of course, maybe it wasn't the cream. By the way, I'm going to stop right now. Does anybody else think that those two blue lights up there look like a dragon glaring at me in the darkness? This is really fucking cool. Had to say that, okay, because I'm getting nervous up here. And also kind of turned on. Anyway. So, we had this wonderful, wonderful party. And coming home on the plane, it was like waking up again. And the following day, it had the look of something that probably should be looked at, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm looking at it, and my own emergency medical training is saying, that's kind of stretching over into the 3rd degree category. You know, that's not good. So, I recently had seen they'd opened a new urgent care facility near where I worked. And I don't like taking time out to go see the doctor. That's 45 minutes away. I'll try going to the urgent care facility. This urgent care facility, they had built it in this ancient stone Gothic mansion, which we have still some of in southeastern Pennsylvania, the old rich people's houses. I mean, when I drove up to this place, you know, made of dark gray stone with the turrets and bats flying around and a thunderstorm over top of it, I walked in fully expecting Dr. Frankenstein to come out. Well, the nurse signed me in and she sent me into a little room, and it was not Dr. Frankenstein who came out. I got Igor. What seems to be the trouble today, Mr. Coleman? And I said, and he said, oh, yes, that's a very nasty burn you have there, Mr. Coleman. Yes, let me get this wire brush here. We're going to have to get some of that dead skin off. Ow. He's like, that should heal up just wonderfully, Mr. Conway. Have any problems, don't hesitate to come back. I'm not making this up. That's exactly what happened. All my stories are true, goddammit. What? Yes, actually, it didn't leave that bad a scar. There's a very, very kind of faint scar on there. I guess the guy did do a good job, after all. Or maybe it was the medicine the Germans gave him. I say it was Germans, yes.
Is your mother here this year?
My mom is not here, sadly. I wish she was, so I could embarrass the daylights out of her. Oh no, no, poor thing's not been deferred. My dear and sainted mother, she's a darling old lady. It's getting harder and harder for her to travel. She is, as I've been taught to say, she is a lady of a certain age. And she had always been extremely active. She'd always been very, athletic and bouncy. The past about 3 years, time appears to be catching up to her. And it caused her no end of consternation, poor old thing. I don't remember if I told this story here or not. If I have, I apologize. I don't like to repeat myself, but this was nowhere more apparent than Eurofurence 3 years ago. Because we got off the plane, and I noticed she just seemed to be having trouble walking. I was very, very concerned. Here we are in a foreign country, and then the poor thing, she just stopped, and she fell back in a chair. I ran up and said, "Mom, what's wrong?" She said, I just can't go any further. I'm just so tired. I don't think I can walk all the way. And she practically started crying. She just was so upset. She thought she'd ruined the whole... I said, "Mom, I'll get you a wheelchair, all right?" So, no, I don't want a wheelchair. Wheelchairs are for old people. I don't want a wheelchair. So, Mom, I said, "Look, listen. Let's just get you a wheelchair, okay?" "No, I don't want it." "It's okay, Mom. Dad, just talk to her, okay?" So I went over. They have this... Germans are also nice to tourists. They've got this giant sign with the wheelchair guy on it and a big red button in the middle of it. You push the button and a voice comes on and says, "Ja." It's like, oh boy. "Sprechen Sie English?" "Nein." "Ich wunsch ein Rollstuhl für meine old mammy son. Bitte, please, sir." Ja, click. I don't know. All right. So I went back and I waited, and the poor thing was just inconsolable. I got her a tissue. She's crying into the tissue. She's, "Oh, I'm an old person." "No, Mom, you're not an old boy." "Yes, you are, but About 10 minutes later, a wheelchair appeared, being pushed by a 6.5-foot tall, blonde-haired, 21-year-old, broad-shouldered, narrow-waisted Adonis. And he came up, and he said, "Are you Frau Conway?" And she went, "Oh, look at you. Oh my. Yes, that's... Oh, yeah, you can push me." Yeah. He took her arm, and she said, "Oh my." Sat her down in the wheelchair, and she said, "Oh. My poor old father is used to this. He's just walking along next to her. So he's wheeling her through the airport. And she started to feel a little better. She's not paying attention to nothing, right? And then she started to notice that we're wheeling right past the security line. We get up to passport control. We just go right up to the front, show them our passports, and keep on walking. By the time we got out of the airport, she's sitting there shouting, "Faster, faster, faster, out of our way! Old lady coming through, get out of the way!" She's been insufferable ever since. I started getting her a little power scooter at Anthrocon. You might have seen that. Bad idea. Because that tiny, frail, little old lady used to ride with a motorcycle gang back in the 50s. It's true. She was a motorcycle enthusiast, as I'm supposed to say. Well, I gave her that little power scooter, and she just took off with it, let the little rubber down. And when I finally caught up to her, because I'm getting kind of old myself, I caught up to her, she pulled the confused little lady thing. "Well, I can't figure out the controls." Okay, Mom, look. There's a giant knob on the steering wheel. There's a rabbit at this side, and there's a turtle at this side. All right? Put it in the middle, okay? Oh, that's how that worked. Okay, thank you very much. Now the Germans, when they saw this, they said, oh, we'll get that for your mother as well. I tried to warn them, because the scooter they got for her had a Mercedes-Benz logo on it.